What do you do with these two guys, DeAndre Swift and Jonathan Taylor? Not practicing. We don't know what we're going to get from them moving forward in weeks 9 through 17. What do we do with them? We're going to talk about that and more. This is a live show, by the way. First in the building is, who's first in the building? Michael K. CPA. Michael K., appreciate you.
Mashed potatoes!
Michael K. CPA, first in the building. We're going to talk about all this and more. Take your phone calls, your super chats. We're going to answer phone calls on the phone line and do the voicemail thing as well. The Fantasy Football Show begins in T-minus 3 minutes. Let's go.
You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smithy is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. Please stand by like a boss.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Take a lap.
What is going on, good people? You are watching the Fantasy Football Show. I'm your man, Smitty, and we're talking about Swift and JT and all the players on screen here, and then we're doing phone calls and voicemails. Let's hit the news desk.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So, this is a tough topic because, and hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. We got 216 people in here, only 44 thumbs up. This is a tough one because you have to be careful not to trade these guys too low, but you also have to be careful not to lose your league. So everybody's situation will be case by case. Everybody's situation will be a little bit different than the next person's situation. Yes, both of these guys will not only be in tomorrow or tonight, depending on when I launch it. Tonight's Panic Chamber episode or tomorrow's Panic Chamber episode, we'll definitely be closing the doors. We'll definitely be, where's my Panic Chamber? We're definitely closing the doors on both these guys on the Panic Chamber. No question about it. The question is, do you make a move? It's all case-by-case basis. There's certain situations where you're 6 wins, 7 wins, and you could trade for JT if you wanted at rock bottom pricing. So it's all dependent on what we're talking about. Like anybody that says they wouldn't trade for JT using bench talent that they'll never use, they're crazy. They're just stubborn. But anybody that's going to hang on to JT when someone's coming to you with a St. Brown offer, you got to take it. And there are a few players out there I feel like are acquirable. You could acquire them if you send JT to that owner in a trade. And it's probably like a St. Brown. It's probably like a DeAndre Hopkins. I'm seeing a lot of DeAndre Hopkins acquisitions in exchange for sending away JT. Sometimes you could maybe just get Deion Jackson in a smaller trade and feel a little comfortable with that versus selling everything, getting JT for pennies on the dollar. Like I'm not, and Deion Jackson's on waivers in a lot of leagues still, which is crazy because people dropped him thinking Nyheim Hines was back. So let's not joke around and act like Deion Jackson wasn't on waivers in a 50% or more fantasy leagues out there for the Bob in here. It's going to say, Deion Jackson's not available, Smitty. Stop acting like Deion Jackson's available. He's not. Of course he is in 50% of leagues, but in certain leagues he's not. You got to try and trade for him. The problem is you go poking around for Deion Jackson. The owner that's got him is going to hold him over your head if you're not careful, if your approach isn't ultra smooth. Almost go after a different player. Don't even mention Deion Jackson, then try and get him thrown into the deal. That's the only way you're going to be able to smoothly get him. But for the most part, we're looking at panic season. If you have 4 wins or less and you got JT or Swift, you got to consider moving them for anything you can. Again, St. Brown, again. Let's see here. Picked up Deion this week. Out of Broskies. Everybody in here that's picking up Deion Jackson. Good job. Here's the report. Let me put it up. And I'll get the super chats after we get through the news. Don't worry. So drop your super chat. I'll answer in order in which they're received. This right here, Swift, ankle, shoulder, didn't practice Wednesday. The bad part about this is even though we're hopeful that, maybe this will turn out to be something where he's not practicing, but he'll still play. The problem is the coaching staff. Detroit, this situation, the staff comes out and talks about how Swift probably was overworked last week and they should have not rushed him back as much. He didn't even do that much last week. And they're talking about dialing him back. So even if he's going to play, it's like, how much will he play? Or are they speaking to last week and this week he's actually going to get more work? But they meant we probably could have got him full go this week if we had been more careful last week. And it's like at some point, I feel like we're greedy by even wanting him to be on the field last week. Because now look, now he's probably going to be moved along like a snail. And it's like, this has been one of the bigger busts of fantasy football 2022. Swift, I'm ashamed I even liked him. I kind of, in my gut, knew better that there was too much risk involved, but his upside was so huge. Next year, I've got a plan of attack for staving off a lot of risk. And I feel like we can incorporate that go forward in a lot of our fantasy football, evaluation and everything. But for the most part, I feel like there's got to be something that we change in terms of risk evaluation. And I've got an idea. I've got a plan. We're going to take it into 2023. I'm going to unlock some risk technique and evaluation processes that we're going to put into place for 2023 to help eliminate some of this that happens on occasion. But yes, Swift has been one of the biggest busts in fantasy football 2022. And I don't have a gut instinct that it's going to change. Do I get rid of him for pennies on the dollar? No. Do I get rid of them for garbage? No. Do I hope that like week 10 on he's fire? Yes, I do hope that at some point he turns it on. I'm not saying I'm giving up on him totally, guys, but at some point you got to say, even with him playing, he's riding the bench. If I've got even a better option at any point whatsoever, I'm throwing that option in the lineup this week. You got Foreman, throw him in the lineup. Benjamin says you got to be patient with Swift. Well, of course you got to be patient with Swift. I mean, that's obvious. Like of course we have to be patient with Swift. But are you going to start him right now? You can't right now. You can't start him until you get word that he's playing full go, or that he's going to get a boatload of work, or they come out and say, hey, we're going to give Swift more work than last week. Everything's going to be good. Okay. You hear something like that. Yeah. The last thing we heard was that this guy was used too much last week. And so, Lone Sentinel, all you guys hanging in on Swift, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not telling you to buy to sell low. And I actually would trade for Swift just like I would trade for JT if someone's freaking out and panicking. If they're giving him away, you got to go get him at rock bottom, cellar dweller, rags potentially could turn to riches type price tag. So understand what I'm saying. I definitely flexing Boyd over Swift this week, says D-Class. Yeah, who's going to drop Swift? Who said they're going to drop Swift? Peterson. Who said they were going to drop Swift? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's time to panic. Of course it's time to panic. You got to panic. You got to adapt. You got to adjust. You got to find another way for this week unless the coaching staff comes out and they say, Campbell says, look, we're putting him in there and we're going to unlock him this week. Or, yeah, we should have eased him in last week, but this week he's doing better. We're going to give him a little bit more each week. Then you know, okay, he's got what he got last week, but a little bit more. But until we hear that, JT for Chase, I probably would take Chase, bro. If you can weather through it, if you think you can weather through it, I probably would rather have Jamar Chase. I mean, why wouldn't you at this point? We don't know what we're going to get out of JT. It's frustrating. Believe me, I have him in several leagues. He's burned me bad in several leagues. Am I dropping him? No. Am I trading him for a wide receiver 3? No. I'd rather let the house burn down on this one than to go give someone a guy like Swift, watch him blow up in weeks 10 on or something like that. Is Swift capable of blowing up in weeks 10 on? Absolutely. Is he capable of busting on you all year long? 100% capable of that too. It's what you call a mixed bag. Now, JT, I have a little more hope for JT. I don't know if I have a little more hope for JT. I'm not too sure. Najee dropped in my office league victory lap. Why is that a victory lap, Avatar? Najee Harris? I mean, I guess I pick him up and I'm okay with having him, but I don't know if I'm taking a victory lap picking up Najee Harris. He's probably just going to be a curse for you, bro. You know, like you're going to contemplate playing him. You know what I mean? You're going to contemplate playing him and he's going to burn you. You're going to be like, okay, do I put in Najee or do I put in Joshua Palmer at my flex? Now that I got Najee, I got to play him, right? You put Najee in, Joshua Palmer drops 102 touchdowns. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it was a victory lap, Avatar. Can we get some Avatar emojis just for Avatar? That's our boy. Avatar's our man. I just thought that was funny because, I mean, God, doesn't it sound so Najee to the moon? No. I'll tell you where we can send Najee. You want to send him here? We'll send him here.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Yeah, that's where Najee lives currently. He resides on planet Uranus. My best advice for anybody that owns JT or Swift is to not panic to the point where you're giving him away, but panic indeed, and go get a St. Brown. I think you could get a St. Brown for Swift or JT in some cases, not every case, in some cases. I think you could maybe get, if I pull up my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, which you can find at thefantasyfootballshow.com. Year-round fantasy football rankings, year-round. Do you understand what that means? These people on Instagram, these so-called self-proclaimed analysts that just self-proclaimed it. They haven't done radio or written for a big major content site. They come out and tell you, my rankings will be available on July 5th. Almost too late for you to utilize. My draft kit will be out in July. Your boy Smitty's 365. I don't even understand the concept of it not being 365. Okay, so thefantasyfootballshow.com. You want hardcore. You want year-round. It's thefantasyfootballshow.com. From my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, I'm looking at a list of players that I would take straight up for JT and Swift at this point. I'm going to throw out a name, and you guys tell me thumbs up. Or no, tell me the name. That way we're not delayed, and I think you're throwing a thumbs up for a previous pick that I threw out. I want you to say the name. JT or Stevenson. Yeah, right now, if you could trade JT for Rhamondre Stevenson straight up, would you do it? In the chat, drop the name of the player you'd rather have, JT or Rhamondre Stevenson. Let's hear it. And then we'll move on to the next name. We'll go all around the rankings. We'll go to the wide receivers. We'll go to the running backs. We'll talk about tight ends. I'm gonna dig into every potential option you might be able to explore in a trade away scenario. JT. Wow. I'm actually pretty shocked at some of these votes, to be honest with you. JT, Stevenson, JT, Stevenson. It's funny how a lot of you clump together the JTs and the Stevensons. It's crazy. I traded Stevenson for JT, so JT, says Tomas. I honestly, I feel like it depends on your team, but if you needed to make a move and you had no shot at winning, I wouldn't blame you for making that move. I do feel like that's a borderline one. Would anybody rather have Stevenson over DeAndre Swift? Go ahead and vote now. Swift or JT, or Swift or Stevenson? Go. Swift or Stevenson? 500 people watching, only 95 thumbs up. Please punch that thumb up. Are we going Stevenson or DeAndre Swift? Go forward. Drop it in the chat. Let's go. I was offered Waddle for JT. I'd probably take Waddle, Michael KCP, at this time. Smitty, you said it yourself. You don't know about Bill. Who's Bill, Ada? Who's Bill? I'm not sure what you're talking about. All the people saying JT drafted in 1.1, says Texas. I feel like all the JTs are JT owners just kind of holding out hope, which I understand and respect. I get it. Stevenson over Swift. That one's a clear cut. Oh, nope. Swift's making a comeback. Swift, Stevenson. Swift, Stevenson, Swift. The problem with these polls is we don't know. We don't really know if this is, a Swift owners being hopeful and figuring they can will this into existence. But here's why I brought up that name, Stevenson. I feel like that's the line. That's where you draw the line and you say to yourself, okay, if I'm going to bail out and jump off of this boat that's traveling in a certain direction because it's going the wrong direction, you need to go that way. This boat is going this way. It's not that the Swift boat can't turn around and go back in the direction you want to go, and that's why you've been staying on the boat. You're trying to get the steering back working and functional so you can turn this boat around and go back in the direction you're going. The question is, there's a Stevenson boat going right by. You're on the Swift boat. You're going that way. You need to go that way. 180-degree turn you need to do. But this boat won't turn. Here comes Stevenson in his boat. Do you jump onto the boat and travel? And at the end, week 17, is Stevenson going to get there before Swift does by the time Swift turns around. Is JT going to get there? I'd laugh at any offer of Swift for my Stevenson, says Paco. Let's see. Ada says, Smitty, I would rather have JT since higher upside than Stevenson. We don't know how much Harris. Yeah, I mean, there's risk in both. That's kind of why he's the perfect person to throw out to make this comparison, because it's like a double-edged sword for both of them. Now, let's hike up the rankings a little bit, and we'll throw a name out like St. Brown. Would anybody rather have St. Brown or JT? JT or St. Brown? Please vote in the chat right now. Sound off. Who would you rather have right now, St. Brown or JT? And don't worry about, we're not going to worry about position. We're trying to go for a value right now. You're in the JT boat heading in the complete opposite direction. Here comes the St. Brown boat. This dude's glaring at you from the boat saying, get in my boat, bro. Get in my boat. Are you going to jump over into the Amon-Ra boat that is traveling toward week 17? St. Brown, Sun God, St. Brown, JT, Brown, just as injured. I don't know that he is. I think he's closer. It's a good point. Maybe he re-injures his ankle. Swift, JT, but Dynasty, well-spaced Ricky, that's a different monster. St. Brown, Sun God, St. Brown, JT's hurt. Swift, St. Brown. Two more names. DeAndre Hopkins. I think you're all going to say Hopkins. Hopkins or JT or Swift. You can choose either one. JT or Swift or Hopkins. Please tell me who you'd rather have out of those three players. JT, Swift, Hopkins, go. I have a feeling we're going to see a bunch of DeAndre Hopkins names being dropped like wildfire. I could be wrong. The JT owners may be staying strong. I, too, like the idea of trading for JT on the cheap, but it's got to be on the cheap. Hopkins, JT, Hopkins, JT, Hollywood coming back soon. Hopkins, Swift, Hopkins. I'm not interested in JT at all in redraft, says Silver Raptor. Hopkins, Swift, Hopkins. There you have it. Final one. And this is where I think there's maybe some wiggle room right now to make a deal. Smitty, nobody's taking my Swift or JT. Well, here you go. Here's the one move that's risky at the same time. This is risky as well. Very risky move. It's going to be, there's no easy way out of JT or Swift. It's not going to be a cakewalk. You can't just walk into an amazing player. No one's giving up an amazing player with no problems. It's like you're selling your used car and you want a brand new car. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it straight across, okay? You got to go find something that's concerning as well to the other owner, but you're not as concerned. Here we go. JT, Mark Andrews. JT or Mark Andrews, who do you want? This is the one move I believe is very vulnerable. You can exploit this right now because not only are Andrews owners for the most part, from what I gather, on my text line, where you can get my text line at thefantasyfootballshow.com. Thefantasyfootballshow.com. Get my text service. I'm getting the sense that most Andrews owners are struggling. And part of that is because when you draft a tight end early, it leaves you weak and vulnerable at running back a lot of the time because you're chasing wide receiver and running back. And so people that have had Andrews out are hurting at running back and at tight end, and they're getting crushed. So the question is, do you swoop in and take a JT and say, give me Mark Andrews, and you get out of the whole thing? You wash your hands of the whole situation, and you take Andrews into 2022 rest of season and figure out your running back spot differently. I feel like it's an amazing way out. It's full of risk as well. Andrews has been banged up. It sounds like it's not a serious situation that's going to linger, but then again, he dropped 2 dud weeks in a row. Andrews dropped 2 dud weeks in a row. He dropped a dud week in week 8 when he left the game with a re-injury of the shoulder. In week 7, he dropped a dud on everybody. My Andrews team has no running back 2. They all got injured. Exactly my point, Spencer. You are vulnerable to trading Mark Andrews because you'd rather fill the running back spot, because without Andrews and without running backs, you're getting crushed. Not to mention Isaiah Likely's on the waiver wire in a lot of situations. 617 of you in here, please punch that thumb up button on your way in the door. Please subscribe if you're new. In one league, I'm 0-8 with JT and Andrews. That is brutal, Chris. That is brutal. I'm going to say if you want out, the number one way out of JT or Swift is go get Mark Andrews. It's an across position trade. Most people that have Andrews that need a running back are willing to at least take a stab at an RB. And I think it's very, very intriguing to them to say, hey, maybe Swift or JT comes back to form. And they could. That's why we're not selling dirt cheap. We're going after a guy that some argued was worthy of the top 20 overall, the top 18 overall. Pick up Likely, exactly, Fred. And if you're going to do this move, pick up Likely now, have him secured. Might even make that Andrews owner a little less apt to hold him if they just picked up Likely, And if Likely's available and you got him, spend your entire fab on him if you're going to make this move. And then it doesn't work out, you still have Likely. I think this is a fantastic way out of either one of these situations. I wish I had better news on these 2 running backs. It's just par for the course with some of the big name running backs that have gone down or got injured or busted in 2022. I think 2023 is going to be a year of the wide receiver. I think 2023, we're going to be pumping up wide receiver in round 1 and 2 more than we've ever done before. And that's not to say I won't go best player available. What I'm trying to tell you is best player available is going wide receiver. I'm not changing my approach. Best player available is the only way to draft. The question is, will running back be best player available when you're on the clock? And I think more so than ever in 2023, wide receiver will scream out as best player available more often than not. I'm not passing on all running backs. I'm not saying I won't take a Kenneth Walker. I'm not saying I won't take a Breece Hall if he recovers and looks to form and he has a really amazing recovery. I'm not saying I won't draft Barkley or another running back, or let's say CMC finishes the year out amazing. We think he's got one more year left. I'm not saying I won't toy around with the idea. I'm just saying walking into 2023, majority of players we're liking in the top 15, top 18 overall, I venture to say more of them are going to be wide receiver than ever before. I venture to say that the industry as a whole might shift toward a more wide receiver friendly approach in the top 20 overall players. And I think I'm going to take that approach, just me predicting what I'm going to do walking into 2023 content, January 1 on, is you're going to see a lot of wide receiver talk. And I'm not saying there won't be gems to find. I'm just wondering if my running back, G-Money, I mean, the scarcity of running back always makes them go early, and the depth of quarterback always makes quarterbacks go late. But people need to adjust to that. Like early quarterback, I have a video dropping at 11:30 p.m. tonight. It's already up there. It's ready to go. It's a premiere. And it's on Josh Allen. It's on quarterbacks. It's on quarterbacks going early. It's on stacking Josh Allen and Gabe Davis and Diggs. It's all about quarterbacks. It's all about early quarterbacks. Some of it's about 2023. Some of it's about trading for Josh Allen right now. That premiere is up, ready to go at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So make sure you're ready to jump on that live premiere tonight on quarterbacks. Let's get to these super chats and then we'll get some phone calls. First super chat of the day. Hey Smitty, update. I did pull off a trade for Mahomes, Aaron Jones, and DK for my Allen and JT. Yes, I like that trade. You basically got Aaron Jones and DK for JT. I mean, a little of that will pay for the upgrade that he got in quarterback, but I love that trade. That's a smash. That's how you get out of JT. People want to know, how do you get out of JT or Swift in an appropriate way, in a fair way for yourself. That is it. That is a great move. Smitty approved that move. James says Swift owner stuck with him, tried several offers for Sanders, Mixon, and Foreman, to name a few, all rejected. Not surprised if they shut him down. Don't cut him or do anything ridiculous. You know, you have a better shot at winning your league or coming back and having a strong finish by hanging on to him than you do selling him for a guy that's not going to help you win your league. You know what I'm saying? You're better off taking a chance that he does bounce back somehow than to sell him too low. I know some people just want to get something for him, but I'd rather take the chance and the risk of him not doing anything for the rest of the year and getting shut down or something than trading him for something that's not helping you win. Tyreek going to have 2,000 yards and 8 TDs. We'll see if he can continue on the crazy pace that he's on, but he's absolutely doing phenomenal. Tyreek Hill is arguably wide receiver 1. So is Diggs. So is Jefferson. So is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp being banged up is a pretty good buy opportunity right now. 620 people in here. Only 227 thumbs up. Please punch that thumb up button for your boy Smitty. And subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and wipe your feet at the door.
Appreciate you all. We're at 16,525 subscribers, and I thank you all for being a part of this journey as we build one of the best, if not the best, fantasy football channel on the planet. Think anyone would go for JT Higgins and Sutton for Pierce and Adams? So you're trading JT Higgins and Sutton away for Pierce and Adams. A boy can dream, Matt. I mean, try it. We've seen crazier trades happen, but that would be quite something if you pulled that off, and we would celebrate your name. Would you trade Rhamondre for JT? Look, as we talked about earlier, Johnny 2K, the chat was divided on Rhamondre and JT, and it was leaning a little bit JT, and everything I could gather, you know, that was an honest vote, but at the same time, how many of those owners were JT owners just hoping, you know? So I think that you run the risk either way. You run the risk of passing on Rhamondre at this opportunity, and you run the risk of potentially trading away JT before he bounces back. There's no clear-cut answer here, bro. I wish I could tell you that it was an easy call. I wish it was concrete to describe one of these guys as a better option to you than the other. And the truth is, we just don't know. They both have risk. They both are a mixed bag. They both have upside. JT could still be a top 5 running back in week 11 through 17, but it could take him 2 more weeks to even get there. Well, he's got a bye week as well. When's JT's bye week? It's week 14. It's week 14. That's right. I remember, because it's like the worst place bye week or the best place bye week in fantasy football history. Because he's got the worst part about JT's ankle is he doesn't get the rest. He doesn't. All these other injuries, like Jamar Chase, has a bye week in between that time span of him coming back. JT's got to muster all the way to week 14, and you got to wonder, are they going to not shut him down all year, but shut him down until week 14? You know, is he going to get little run? Is he not going to ever get, or will he just bounce back in a week from now? We don't really know. Will Rhamondre Stevenson remain the starter in New England? If he does, he's worth more than JT because he's a top 10 running back per start if he's starting. But will Damian Harris cut into his workload? We don't know. We don't know. This is truly a coin toss type of decision, and we've already voted on it in the chat to help you out, and it was a complete cluster as to who wanted who. There was no clear answer, and to be honest with you, I waver on it, and it would depend a lot on the situation. Can you win waiting for JT even if it's 2 more weeks? If you can't, then it's understandable to go get Stevenson, but can you get more in addition? Some people wouldn't even trade Stevenson for JT, and I can't blame them. $10 hauler
to the moon
from our guy Nick, and I think we got a $20 super chat. $20 super chats are always handled first. This is from Bryson. Bryson, appreciate you. $20 hauler, my guy. Bryson, would you trade JT for Dameon Pierce or ETN? I would take ETN in a million.
You've just been Smitty approved.
There's no way you're getting ETN. If you get ETN, Bryson, you will be the sorcerer of the day. That is sorcery type stuff, bro. But would I take Pierce, and is Pierce attainable? Pierce is pretty attainable, I think, for JT in some circumstances. Absolutely. Also depends on the other owner, what the record is. You know what I mean? Like, if you're talking to somebody that's got 3 or 4 wins, they're not taking JT. But if you're talking to somebody that's got 6 wins, 7 wins, you know, they have the ability to weather through waiting on JT. They barely use Pierce because they've got 4 running backs, and they're not sure whether they even want to start Pierce on a weekly basis. If you're not sure whether you're starting a player like that on your bench, JT is a great candidate for you to go get. Let's not pretend like there aren't scenarios where owning JT right now or going and getting Swift aren't good options. There are always ways to look at this from a different perspective. If you own JT or Swift and you have 4 wins, you're in trouble and you need to explore a trade. If you don't own JT and you don't own Swift and you have 6 wins, you should be knocking down the door of the owners and trying to get them for pennies on the dollar so you can have this little surprise on your bench waiting in the wings. And if they don't work out, big deal. You got rid of some depth that you can't use on bye weeks or injuries, big deal. But you have JT sitting in there waiting in the wings, bro, in case something happens. Totally depends on your scenario, your situation. But would I take ETN no matter what the situation was for JT or Swift? Absolutely. Not even close. Would I take Pierce no matter what the situation was? Probably.
You've just been Smitty.
Could it backfire? Is JT capable of making that backfire? He could, but it's just not a real good look right now. And so it's a scary proposition. This $10 hauler from Nick, 12-man, PPR, 4-4, Fields, Amon-Ra. What move should you do? Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. The show loves you back, bro. I mean, Amon-Ra, Gabe Davis, ETN Pierce, you got a really decent core there. Do I think you could win with this team? ETN and Pierce, Amon-Ra, Gabe Davis, and Fields. I don't. Doesn't mean you're not capable of, if you squeak into the playoffs at 4-4, if you squeak in and Chase returns to form after missing just 3 games, and then he has that bye week in between all that, do I think you could get back in on top? Sure. So if you sneak into the playoffs with Chase healthy, you can win. If Chase isn't healthy and his situation lingers and they end up shutting him down, it's probably game over. You've got to explore, given that you're 4-4, what can you get for Chase right now? Can you go get and I know you already have him, but a St. Brown level type player? Can you go get a Kenneth Walker, give up London and Chase, or give up A.J. Dillon and Chase? Can you give up Tony Pollard and Chase for one player? And I'm not saying I want to give up Tony Pollard. I really love Tony Pollard and what he could do for your team here and what he did for you last week. But you got to consider, you know, at 4-4, seeing what kind of player you can get. Do I want you selling for a Foreman? No. I don't want you selling Chase for a Foreman. Do I want you getting into a Dameon Pierce? Maybe. Do I want you getting into an ETN for Chase? Absolutely. Walker, 100%. Will you get those? Probably not. Not unless grandma's in your league and she's sleeping at the wheel, bro, because she takes naps at noon and 4 and then goes to bed at 5:30. And you can get into her phone, her flip phone, bro, and accept the trade you're sending to her. Other than that, I don't know that you're pulling off an ETN or a Walker type of deal for your struggling, you know, or for your injured Jamar Chase. But certainly look to explore trading. If you can squeak into the playoffs, bro, with Jamar Chase in that team, I think you can make it. You can get it done. I do believe that. You're 7-1 right now, thanks to your help, Smitty. Appreciate you, Zero Gaming. Nice record, my guy. I have Rondell Moore and Jamal Williams. Should I trade for Duvernay and James Robinson? No. I mean, I don't even know what those have to do with anything for this team. You know what I mean? Like, do I get James? No, I don't like James Robinson. I never liked James Robinson this year. I don't like him now. I don't think he's in any better situation or anything. Duvernay, I like him. I'd pick him up, but am I trading for him? No. He's a waiver wire guy. I like Rondell Moore. I love Jamal Williams. I'm not trading any of those guys for these guys. You might look to just hold Jamal, bro, or go to that Swift owner and either price Swift from him for dirt cheap, or you trade him Jamal Williams and you hold him over his head and you say, you want Jamal? You're going to have to give me, St. Brown. You're going to have to give me a player like Dameon Pierce. I'll give you something back with Jamal, but Jamal is going to cost you an arm and a leg. So go to that owner and try and give him Jamal for a hefty return. Okay? Don't give him away. It's got to be something massive, bro. Make him pay the piper. This is his fault for not getting Jamal Williams. Watch, that's you. You got Swift. Appreciate you, gaming. This one's from Mitch. Mitch, my guy. And again, $20 supers get handled right away. Thank you, Bryson, for that $20 super chat, by the way. Joshua, 705 in the building. Punch that thumb up button. 12 team, 2-6. I traded Kamara, Pollard, and T-Law for Adams and Lamar. Kamara, Pollard, and T-Law for Adams and Lamar. I like that. I like that because, you know what? Adams is, in my opinion, I don't care what anybody thinks. Adams has had his bye week already. He's still a top 5 wide receiver potential guy, which equates to easily a Kamara. I know Kamara's been blown up lately, but Adams has near equivalent value to Alvin Kamara, in my opinion. And you just got Lamar Jackson. That is a huge trade. I absolutely love it for your team. I know it kind of hurts you at running back. I get it, but you still got good rushers. I don't worry about it. I would look to maybe shop Cook on the high. Just something that I would think about. But other than that, bro, I love what you got going on. Nice trade. That's a great job there. This is from Joseph. Joseph, I give Foreman and Waddle. I get Jacobs and Amari Cooper. This could be argued either way. Waddle's good enough, bro, to be in the conversation. If you're throwing Foreman in with that Waddle side, to be in the conversation of a Jacobs and Amari Cooper. I probably would lean Jacobs and Amari Cooper for a couple of reasons. One, the value's better. It is an RB, and I feel like the trade value of Jacobs right now is a little higher than Waddle. So I wouldn't even stop flipping here. But even if you couldn't flip Jacobs, it's still very good value. I feel like Foreman is at his highest. I agree with you. I would rather have a different running back, though, than Jacobs. There are running backs around Jacobs' level that I'd prefer over Jacobs. So, meaning like, Nick Chubb might be untouchable, I suppose, at this point. ETN, I like a little more than Jacobs. Nick Chubb, Kenneth Walker, I like a little more than Jacobs in some context. Kamara, Saquon, obviously, Eckler. I'd rather give up a little more and get Eckler than do the Jacobs deal, but that's me. I don't mind Jacobs. I think Jacobs has good value. Again, I would maybe look to trade him. Avatar dropping some super chats here. Drops 3 in a row. Najee dropped in my league victory lap. Let's give Avatar a standing ovation just for being the man. I don't know. I didn't mean to clown on this, Avatar. You're my boy, Blue Brofist. But I just can't. I can't take a victory lap involving Najee right now. He's just such a volatile player. Because I trashed him all offseason or all preseason, so the guy dropped him. Well, you were right to trash him, bro. In some context. But Avatar, appreciate you dropping all those super chats, my guy. You the man. Faith dropping a super. Pick one rest of year, Geno or Fields. Probably Fields, bro. Geno's good. He's good, but Fields is playing better. Maybe there's better options than that, but of those two, I'll probably say Fields. Pick one, especially getting Claypool. It's kind of nice. He's got another weapon now. Pick one rest of year. Oh, I already got that one. Sorry. This is from J Max. Trade Aaron Jones and Higgins for D. Henry and Gabe Davis. Give me D. Henry and Gabe Davis all day. Bye weeks out of the way for Henry. Just a nice little trade there, bro. And while I'm still worried about injury, and we've got news on screen, we haven't even gotten to the news on screen, which I got to get to in a second. Henry has got an injury, a foot injury. We don't know how serious it is, But there is worry and concern about Henry lasting through the year. Last year, I said trade him before double-digit weeks. He broke right before double-digit weeks. Could I be wrong on the same concept this year? Is what I pretty much said all offseason, is that if he gets to a point where at week 10 he's on fire still, you might want to consider trading him before he breaks because the mileage is real. But at the same time, in that trade offer we were just talking about, what was it right here from J-Max? At some point, you have to say, okay, we're walking into week number 9. If he's not injured yet, and he is injured this week, ironically, then maybe you just ride it out. You know, you roll the dice that he has this one final electric year, which is totally an outlier from other fantasy football running backs because of the mileage. We've never seen it before. Somebody take on about 1,000 carries within a 2.5 window of time. Literally almost 1,000 carries in a 2.5 window of time is outrageous. McCaffrey walked into 2022 without even having 800 carries to his name on his whole career. And Henry walked in just the last 2.5 years with 1,000 plus, or right around 1,000. He's over 1,000 now in the last 3 years, which is crazy. That's, you're going to break at that level. But at the same time, it's like Aaron Jones is in an injury risk. Higgins is an injury risk. Give me the Henry side in this particular situation, and I'm not really even batting an eye. But in general, do I look to maybe shop Henry if I've got him? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you roll the dice. Depends on how many shares you have. It depends on your team. Depends on what you're acquiring back, like I just broke down. In the case of Aaron Jones and Higgins, there's no less injury risk in that situation. So no, I'm going to take the Henry side when we're talking about that kind of risk. JT or Evans? I'd rather have Evans, bro. I'd rather have Evans. Swift is okay, says him. No, he's not, bro. He could be okay eventually, we hope. Trade JT and Swift for Kamara and Najee. God. What? Bro, this is like... First of all, you got to take the Kamara side and then flip Najee, because Kamara's the only healthy running... Like, what is this? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? We're just mixing up our risk. Here, I'll take your risk, you take mine. Like, no. Problem. Create a different trade-off, or what's going on here? JT and Swift for Kamara and Najee? I take the Kamara side, then trade Najee and do it quick. Trade him for a wide receiver. Go get St. Brown. Give up a little more if you've got to. But oh my God, man, what a combination of stuff I just am trying to get out of, not get in at that type of. I don't know, bro. That's crazy. Go get Kamara though. JT or Pierce? Give me Pierce all day long right now. DeAndre Swift and Gabe Davis for Andrews and Pacheco. Give me. That one's tough because, I mean, everybody's hurt in that trade except for Pacheco and Gabe Davis. So, Swift or Aaron Jones rest of season? I'd rather have Aaron Jones. This message is from Avi. Kenneth Walker, ETN, JJ, Tyreek owner, half PPR bench, Dylan Henderson, Eno, Deion Jackson. Who do I drop for Rachaad White, who just got dropped on waivers? Rachaad White, I guess I'd drop Eno in that situation, bro. He's probably losing a lot of his workload, bro. So that seems like a pretty good move if it were me. Dropping Njoku for Taysom Hill. I'd rather have Taysom Hill. I'd rather have Isaiah Likely if you can get him as well, broski. Trade Hurts and Pierce for K1 and Cook. I'd probably rather have Hurts and Pierce than Kyler Murray and Cook, but it's arguable, bro. You could really argue that one if Kyler Murray were to bounce back. Burrow, JT, ETN, Walker, St. Brown, DK, very good team. Any moves? You're 5-3. I mean, we're talking about what can you get for JT, bro? You got Chase and JT. It's a good team. It's just not coming together right at this moment. You've got some guys that can kind of carry you, but can you wait on Chase? Probably at 5-3, I imagine. But maybe you get rid of JT and you get a player like, you already got Walker. You already got ETN. I mean, you could wait on him. Who's your tight end? What about the Andrews move, bro? What about the Andrews move for this team? I don't see your tight end. Assuming you have a tight end, don't trade for him as a wide receiver. But if you start tight ends and you don't have a good tight end, that's my advice for you. JT for Andrews, bro. That might be the best move for you. 859 people in the building. 293 thumbs up. Punch that thumb up button. Let's get to the rest of the news. We'll come back to the super chats. Again, for those of you joining, the 837 of you in here, this guy Swift, what do you do with him? We talked in the chat already about would we rather have Stevenson over Swift over JT. Most people wanted JT over Stevenson still, but pretty much most people wanted Stevenson over Swift. Then we talked about Hopkins. Most people wanted Hopkins over JT and Swift. And then we talked about, like Kenneth Walker had taken a heartbeat over Swift. Kenneth Walker had taken a heartbeat over Jonathan Taylor. ETN had taken a heartbeat over either one. So, TBA on whether these guys play in week number 9. I would assume they don't, just to be safe. I would assume they don't, and then go from there. This right here, Derrick Henry foot was limited in Wednesday's practice. Look, not extremely concerned yet, but the fact that Derrick Henry suffered the foot injury and the surgery that kept him out last year and ruined his season, a very good season. The mileage is crazy on this guy. Crazy. And everybody says he's built different. Well, I'll tell you what. I love him right now. He looks fantastic. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But built different is not necessarily a good thing when it comes to a guy at this size. And so there's some concern. I'm not saying to sell him cheap. I'm not saying to sell him at all. I'm saying explore it. And if you get an offer you can't refuse, you might want to look into it because Derrick Henry does have some major injury risk at his size with his mileage at his age. All of the red flags. Could he finish and muster up an amazing finish in this scrape, fantasy points out at the very end and then fall off the face of the earth walking into 2023, which is most certainly going to happen at his age, his drop-off age that he is. The fact that he's got so much more mileage than any running back in really NFL history in a short period of time. That window of mileage is absolutely crazy. Monitor this. This is a little concerning. We don't know what to make of it yet. Cooper Kupp is also a concern right now, but we don't want to freak out over Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is not practicing, but that's expected. They want to keep him healthy, get him healthy. I'm a little bit worried about this lingering, but at the same time, am I intrigued to buy low? Certainly am. I certainly am. Cooper Kupp is out of this world, different than every wide receiver in the NFL. He's just special. He's just different, and he's a target monster. And if I have the opportunity to buy on a little risk, I will. Would I take him in every single league I had? No, because what if the risk turns into more risk, and then before you know it, he's hampered for 3 or 4 games. JT's suffering with an ankle injury. St. Brown's been suffering with an ankle injury. You have to be careful not to go after injured players on the regular because it could burn you. It could absolutely burn you. So be careful. Pick and choose what leagues you want to go after a guy like Cooper Kupp in. It is advantageous to take a stab and have a conversation and see if you can get him. Long live the king, says Yes. We got a $20 hauler. $20 haulers get answered immediately. Looks like we have 2 of them. 2 $20 haulers. 3 of them. 3 $20 haulers. First one was Bryson. This next one was Mike. Mike, you didn't attach any kind of question to it, so I'm going to have to go searching to try and find it. Definitely try and include that in there if you can next time. Andrew with the super chat. Andrew, what's up, my guy? 5-3, full PPR, 10-man league. Just traded Lamar, Foreman, MT, Everett for Allen, London, Buffalo Bills, LOL. My team is Allen, CMC, Saquon, ETN, Godwin, Keenan Allen, Higbee. That's a good team, broski. That's a really good team. So you traded Lamar, Foreman, MT, and Everett for Josh Allen, London, and the Bills. I love that, bro. I give up all that extra trash to get my number 1 league-winning quarterback in Josh Allen. It's a phenomenal move. recommendations for you with Josh Allen and Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley and ETN and Keenan Allen and Higbee and Godwin. I don't think there's many moves for you to even make. You're a little light at wide receiver, Keenan Allen. You got to pick up Joshua Palmer to cuff him to Keenan Allen. Go do that immediately if he's available. Andrew, don't even hesitate. Make sure you jump at that. Past that, I'm not moving the running back room at all just to try and fill a wide receiver spot, because you're gonna create one hole in the boat trying to plug another. And it just doesn't make sense to run circles around when you can try and hit this with the waiver wire. And there are wide receivers out there. Andrew, I'd love to know what wide receivers are available. I think that if Joshua Palmer is out there, he might be your savior to patching this hole at least a little bit, because Keenan Allen looks like he's in trouble, bro. They said his injury got worse in the bye week. Last week, his injury got worse. He tried to play on it. Only Keenan Allen can injure himself worse and have an injury get worse on the bye week. I don't know if Keenan Allen's ever going to rebound. I don't know if he's ever going to rebound and ever play elite football ever again. Joshua Palmer, go grab him. If Mike Williams gets cut, grab him as well and put him on IR or hold him on your bench. I don't know why the Chargers didn't trade for a wide receiver like Brandon Cooks in this before this trade deadline on Tuesday. That was ridiculous on their part. I don't know why they're not trying to solve this problem, to be honest with you. It makes me a little worried about Herbert going forward, because who's going to catch the football besides Eckler, Everett, and Joshua Palmer? Now, those are still good weapons. I still have good confidence in Herbert, but I don't know if Herbert's going to play to the level we thought he could play without these wide receivers. But this is a phenomenal team. I wouldn't mess with it, Andrew. I think it's absolutely going to crush for you. Jared with the super chat. 6-2. I'm playing Chubb. Owner has been struggling. QB is Cousins, Watson. Running backs are ETN, Mixon, Chuba, Wilson. Tight end Andrews, likely. Waddle, Godwin. Any suggestions? I mean, bro, I like your tight end situation. You got it cuffed perfectly. ETN and Mixon and Chuba. You know, you're okay. You're a little light on the Mixon side of things here. I love ETN, but I'm not a huge... I don't know what to think of Mixon right now. He's kind of a good buy low in some context, but he's also a guy I'm not like super thrilled about. So I do like the idea of maybe shopping him. Let's see if we can cook up an offer. Moves you can make to the Chubb owner. He needs wide receivers. I mean, I would trade Waddle, Godwin and Mixon for Chuba, or for Chubb. Godwin and Mixon for Chubb. I don't want you to trade Waddle. I'd trade Waddle for Chubb straight up, but he's not going to do that. I'd trade Waddle. I don't know if you can trade Waddle and Mixon for Chubb unless you're getting something back. You know, because that would just deplete your team. You'd be good with Chubb, yeah, but you'd have ETN Chubb, but what else would you have? Andrews, and that's it. I don't think you can win with that, but I would try and acquire Chubb. I would try and acquire Kenneth Walker on the cheap. You might be able to do a Mixon and Mixon and Rondell Moore, Mixon and Godwin for Kenneth Walker and something. It's a tough one, bro. You might be a candidate to go get, at 6-2, go get JT. There are a few people I will recommend to go get JT. You might go get JT. You might be able to get rid of, and I wouldn't trade Mixon for him straight up. You might be able to get rid of, a Godwin for JT maybe. You know, go get Jamar Chase maybe. You're 6-2. That would be a way to beef up this team. It wouldn't be a bad idea. All right, let's get to the rest of this news, and we'll get through the super chats. Devontae Adams. Oh, let me see if I can find Mike Powers' super chat. Or his comment. Mike Powers. Here we go, Mikey. I got you right here. DeAndre Swift and Gabe Davis for Mark Andrews and Pacheco. If you can weather through the losing Swift, like your running backs, you still have two good ones. Like you got Walker and ETN still, or something like that. I probably would take Andrews, but that's a tough one, Mike. Chat, can we get a vote on that? Would you rather have Swift and Gabe Davis or Mark Andrews Pacheco? Can you guys vote in the chat for me on that one? I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate your super chat. $20 haulers. Appreciate all of you. Devontae Adams' illness was limited in Wednesday's practice. Devontae Adams is a good buy low. Devontae Adams had the flu last week and played horribly. And I think his owners are upset at him right now. If you can get out of JT or Swift and give up a little bit more to get into a Devontae Adams, that's a move I can get behind. And Adams is kind of attainable. 482 of you in here. 330 thumbs up. Punch that thumb up button. Appreciate you. We got some votes coming in. Andrews, depending on the variables, Swift and Gabe Davis. Need to know your team makeup, Mike. Swift and Davis. Swift and Gabe Davis. Go buy Adams regardless of JT or Swift. Like, go buy Adams low. Go buy Adams low. If you got a lower ranked wide receiver, give up something small. Go get Devontae Adams. He doesn't have his buy anymore. He's going to tear it up, go forward. Go get Devontae Adams before it's too late. Go pick up this kid, Joshua Palmer. Cleared the concussion protocol and will play week 9. Guess who's probably not playing week 9 or not playing for a long time? Keenan Allen, who re-injured himself even more during the bye week. He says it got worse during the bye week. So Joshua Palmer season is underway. And this Keenan Allen, here you go. Chargers coach Brandon Staley said Keenan Allen hamstring is not practicing Wednesday and that his injury actually got worse during the bye week this last week in week 8. So if he got worse, how is he going to play? And if he plays, he's getting injured again. James Conner was limited Wednesday, but it's looking like he's trending toward playing week number 9. That definitely affects Eno Benjamin. Connor's probably the back to own go forward, but certainly a messy situation. But if Connor's on the field and healthy and you own Connor, you're going to want to roll him out there. Andy Reid said he'll try to work Kadarius Toney in during the team's week 9 game against the Titans. For those who are thinking Toney's just going to jump out and become this monster right away, they're trying to work him in. Don't expect anything right now. Maybe he's a hold in some situations, but I'm not like racing out to own this guy or getting ultra excited about 2022 for the guy. I just think that it's a good future prospect, and maybe at some point he gets going. I don't know, but I'm not like ultra excited about it. Browns general manager Andrew Berry said he expects DeShaun Watson to play week 13 against the Texans. Goodell in the NFL scheduling his first game back against his former team. Only Goodell would do that. Only Goodell would do that. Okay, DeShaun Watson suspended for 11 games. They already knew the schedule was already made too. He got the exact suspension that would allow him to come back and play his former team. If that doesn't sound corrupt, I don't know what does. How does a suspension by way of your proxy, you have a proxy that's going to rule on the situation and give a new suspension designation out, and it happens to be the week that Watson's allowed to come back, he's facing his former team. That's not a coincidence. That's called corruption, in my opinion. In my educated guessing opinion. So DeShaun Watson needs to be grabbed in all leagues where you need a quarterback. Or even if you don't need a quarterback, this dude can be traded. You could trade this man. People are dying at quarterback right now. If you had DeShaun Watson to enter the mix of a trade, a 2-for-1 trade, hey, I'll give you DK Metcalf and DeShaun Watson, who I just picked up for your Devontae Adams. What do you say? Done. That's how you trade. Cam Akers, I'm not saying this to go rush out and pick him up. You know how much I don't believe in Cam Akers coming off a torn Achilles tendon. Give me a break. The Rams turned down multiple offers for Cam Akers at the trade deadline and are working with his agent to get him back on the field. It may be worth a grab and hold just to trade him. I don't believe in him, but would I pick him up, hold him to trade him potentially? JT and Henderson for Walker and Juju. TJ Smooth, I've said this the whole show, bro. If you can get Walker for JT, it's an absolute smash, man. Like, I've been saying it the whole show. Like, JT, do I hold JT? Yeah. You know, rather than give him away. You know, ride the wave out versus like just send him packing for garbage. But Walker is a top 10 overall player. So that's an absolute home run, bro. Absolute home run. I don't even know that person is going to do that trade that you're concocting. You know what I mean? Jamar Chase is not practicing Wednesday. That's expected. And the truth is, we're hopeful. It's not even a guarantee by any means that he's going to have this week right here. This will be 2 weeks that he's missed. Then he's going to have the bye week the next week. And then we're hoping he comes back. The thought is he could play potentially before 4 games is up. That's why he was not put on injured reserve. So we'll see what happens there. No one wanted him for anything, I bet. Someone just offered me Mixon and Adams for Chubb. Because we don't know about Mixon, bro. It's hard to say to do that trade, but like if Mixon bounced back, it could be good. But I don't know that I feel that way about Mixon, my guy. I just don't feel confident about him. All right, let's answer a couple of voice messages, and then we're gonna hit the let's see, do we have any voice messages for today? Lance.
Hey, Smitty, just traded for Jalen Hurts. I traded Justin Herbert and DJ Moore. I know that DJ Moore is big, but I got Jalen Hurts and Calais Campbell. I'm not really worried about Calais Campbell too much, but I had A.J. Brown, and I really wanted that stack. I just wanted to know how you felt about it.
You've just been Smitty approved.
I don't mind that at all. Nice work, Lance. Cole.
Hey, Smitty. So I have Jonathan Taylor. I also have Eno Benjamin and Rashad White, and I was wondering if I should drop Eno Benjamin or Rashad White for Deion Jackson.
Don't drop Rashad White. Eno Benjamin's on the way down with Connor coming back. Rashad White, you're waiting for him to rise up. So he's a league winner. Yeah, that's a pretty easy call for me. Lance. Nice message, Lance. Payne.
Hey, Smitty, going forward, Kareem Hunt or Jeff Wilson Jr.?
Probably Jeff Wilson Jr. for now. That could change. An injury to either starter makes that player more valuable, so that's a tough one. Payne.
Hey, Smitty, is Kareem Hunt, is he worth dropping to try and pick up a guy like Jeff Wilson or Edwards? What do you think?
Kareem Hunt for Edwards or who?
Jeff Wilson or
Edwards.
Yeah,
it's the same question. So yeah.
Do you think Melvin Gordon is kind of worth trading for the low or stashing if you can, or is it nothing but smoke out there in Denver?
I feel like Melvin Gordon, it is smoke. Do I feel like somebody would buy him in a 2-for-1 or something like that? Maybe. So I would maybe, depends on your drop.
Is Drake London still considered a buy low candidate, or is he like a rookie season bust right now in Atlanta, the way Atlanta's wide receiver core is looking?
In Dynasty, I'd buy him low. In redraft, I mean, you're waiting. This is next year. Ritter's not in there. They're not throwing the football. They're not trying to throw they're trying to throw the football a little more, and Kyle Pitts has definitely been benefiting of that. But London's a rookie. Remember what I told you guys about rookies? They're going to do well in the beginning. Look at Garrett Wilson. Everybody's like, oh my God, it's a wide receiver 1. Garrett Wilson's amazing. And he looked good, and it was fun to pick him up. But you have to be cautious with rookie wide receivers because they'll blow up, and then they'll go through a lull, weeks and weeks of just looking like they're not even alive. They're not even on the field. And then Garrett Wilson bounces back this past week. Could Garrett Wilson continue to do well? Yeah. Could London pick it up? I mean, London was looking as valuable as Olave for the beginning of the year. It's like these guys, which one's going to be better on the year? And then London just dropped off. And then London hasn't been found since. But I don't think if he does bounce back, it'll be consistent because they don't have Ritter in there. If Ritter were in there, we could have a different conversation. So it's a good question, but definitely not sure in redraft.
Would you drop Alexander Madison or Benjamin for Jeff Wilson?
Similar to that question down below, I would rather have Jeff Wilson. I wouldn't drop Madison if I could help it. Thank you guys for the voice messages. Appreciate you dropping those. If anybody wants to be in my voicemail group, DM me the word voicemail, and then below that in the same chat message say, hey Smitty, can you put me in the voicemail group? Just DM me on Instagram. How do you find me on Instagram? I'll show you how. You go to the Fantasy Football Show on IG, and that's how you find me. Let's get to the rest of these super chats. Your boy Smitty's a little behind on them if you're waiting. If anybody asks, hey Smitty, have you got to my super chat? Just let everybody know I'm about halfway through the ones that have been dropped. I'm doing my best. Doing the best I can. As mom always screamed at me all day long. B-Rob or Wilson rest of season. Give me Wilson. I mean, B-Rob's in there right now. If you need something now, I suppose, but like I'd rather just play the odds game that Wilson's going to eventually be starting for an injured Mostert at some point. Mostert's not injured right now, or he's on the field. 8-man PPR, 4-3. Broke Kamara, Devontae, and DJ Moore, and obtained Walker, Sun God, and Pollard. I lean Walker, Sun God, and Pollard. It's not crazy to do either one. Also, Kelsey for CMC. I'd rather have CMC. So I would Smitty approve that on all sides and all angles, my guy. Nice work. Avatar dropping yet another super chat because Avatar is a beast. No one's concerned that St. Brown hasn't done anything for a month. Yeah, but when you're buying low, Avatar, you have to target guys that are in risk territory. And I do feel like St. Brown is a mixed bag of risk and reward, sure, but I feel like the risk is probably, the likelihood of it being behind him is greater than the likelihood, by a lot, than likelihood that it'll return the injury or inconsistent play. Hopkinson just got traded to Minnesota. That's more targets for St. Brown. St. Brown's angry. He's hungry. If Jamison Williams comes back, he's coming back from a torn ACL that he's not even remotely close to coming back from at a full capacity. Even if he did return, which isn't likely right now, but return to the lineup and the form consistently, semi-consistently, that's going to help. He's not going to take away so much from St. Brown. He's just getting going, if he even gets going at all this year. So that can only probably help St. Brown because of the potential double teams he's looking at. But there's a lot of good, effective pass catchers. Reynolds, Jamal Williams is looking good. Swift might bounce back. There's a lot of talent there for St. Brown to still get open and find ways of catching the football. My Gabe Davis for Khalil Herbert. I'd rather have Gabe Davis. Also, was going to pay a subscribe to your channel, but I can't figure it out. You mean a super chat? You'll see a $sign by the message that you're typing. Hit that and then type your message in the actual super chat. Appreciate you, Tyler. And if anybody wants to become a YouTube exclusive member, you click on this link right here. It's also in the description of the video if you're watching a replay. But YouTube exclusive members get the green names and the ability to chat with me on Sunday mornings on the Sunday live stream. The last half hour leading into kickoff, I'm live here on YouTube, and I only answer questions from people that have the green names and have the emojis. Why didn't I draft CMC and Saquon, says Jonathan. You didn't draft him because you didn't draft him, bro. You can't live in regret like that. If you knew, you would have did it. You can't think like that, bro. You just got to adjust and adapt and try and figure out how to own them, obtain them, go get another trade, and win your league. Are you trading Patterson straight up for Swift? I would take Swift in that situation. Jacob in a heartbeat. There are some risks I'm willing to take, and that one's a fantastic one. Fane, appreciate you. Let me make no mistake about it. I want this video to scare everybody into getting rid of or not going near Swift and JT. There's still value there. It's just, are you trading away both of them? Are you trading for both of them? There's arguments to be made on all sides of this equation here. So everybody needs to understand that this video is not to tell you you have to trade them or you have to trade for them or you need to avoid them or anything of the sort. It all depends. It's all case-by-case dependent. Thoughts on potential moves 4 and 4. This team has Swift and Kenneth Walker and Kelsey. It's got some good components to it. You got Adams, Burrow. I like it. I mean, Adams, Godwin, Swift, Kenneth Walker, Kelsey. I don't think I'm making any moves other than doing what I said at the top of the show. Maybe looking to move Swift if you can get away with like getting a Pierce. If you can get a Kenneth Walker by giving up something. If you could give Sutton and Swift for Kenneth Walker, I'd smash that. If you could get ETN doing the same thing, I'd do that. If you could go get Aaron Jones using Swift, I'd probably do that. Those are the kinds of things I'm looking to do with Swift, or I'm holding, and you might be a candidate to hold him. Your team looks great. I traded Swift, Sutton, and Everett for Kelsey and Rhamondre. I think that's an absolute smash. Not only is Kelsey the best player in the deal, but you could argue that Rhamondre and Swift are close, bro. Like, close enough that it's worth this upgrade at tight end. So, absolute killer trade, man. You crushed it. Thanks again, Bryson, for the $20 hauler. This one's from Wolf. It's a $10.
To the moon.
Wolf is the man. Appreciate the Wolfmeister. Herbert, Etienne, Walker, Jacobs, Rhamondre, Foreman, Cooper, Kupp, Diggs, MT, Devontae. Okay. Traded originally Foreman, Pittman, MT, but my league vetoed it. Wait. I traded originally Foreman. Let's see. I can get JJ for Pittman, Walker, and MT. JJ for Pittman, Walker, and MT. You could argue either side of this, man. I like Walker that much, but I would probably take JJ. You originally traded Foreman, Pittman, MT, and your league vetoed it. Well, I don't agree with vetoes at all, but I could understand them hating that trade, and if you have a veto process, they are going to veto something like that. I don't agree with vetoes, but if there's a veto process in place, people are going to have human nature to block good trades because they're jealous they didn't get it. That's why a veto process is dumb. People aren't objective. They can't veto something based on collusion. They'll veto it based on selfishness and based on being jealous. I'd rather have JJ, I believe, assuming, you have the running back depth to do it, which, looking at your team, you kind of do, you kind of don't. But you'd have sick wide receivers, man. Cooper, Kupp, Diggs, and JJ. Who cares? I do that. I take that because you still have Jacobs and Rhamondre. I didn't see Jacobs there. Oh, you have ETN up at top. Oh, God, yeah. You're totally fine. I'm sorry. I didn't see the top part of this. Fantastic, bro. Smash that. Easy. Your running back depth is sick.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Rushman says, take care. Rushman, appreciate you here. Will, Smitty, please answer this. Which one would you do, Evans for Fournette or Evans for Chubb? Well, let me ask you something there, Willie boy. Where are you drafting Chubb? Top 5? Where are you drafting Fournette? I'll answer that for you. Like 3rd round? So you tell me, what's better, 3rd rounder or top 5 pick? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? How is that an alert? How is that a siren worthy question? Will, if I received Fournette, if I received Evans for Chubb, I'd send you this.
You are offer sex. You are great offer sex.
But then at the same time, Will, if you offered me Evans for my Fournette, so the part I'm having a problem with is that it's an or question. Like, why on earth would I rather have Fournette over Chubb, bro? Like, I don't even understand. I appreciate you. I'm not mad at you, my guy. I'm confused. You've got me confused, bro. I'm spinning my wheels here. Will, I appreciate you though. Okay, here we go. Would you trade Likely to the Andrews owner for C. Patterson? That's not a bad move. The question I'd ask myself is if C. Patterson and Likely were both on waivers right now, who would you pick up? And if your answer is C. Patterson, then do the trade. If it's Likely, then don't. I kind of feel like they're pretty close to even. I think C. Patterson's probably the more attractive player to own right now, especially if you need running backs. What's up, Smitty? This is a $10 hauler.
To the moon.
Appreciate you, my guy. Eric with an A. What up, Smitty? Quick hauler to say I traded Swift and Ayuk for ETN last week. Feel better about it. Absolutely. Home run, Arik. Absolute smash. Arik's taking advantage of people left and right. Hey, Arik, this one's for you.
Wrong.
Got him.
I didn't mean to hit the wrong. PPR Fields, Higgins, St. Brown, Godwin, JT, Swift. Watson, should I move JT or Swift or stay put? I mean, you got JT and Swift. That's brutal, bro. That's brutal to have both of them. St. Brown, Godwin. I'm moving one. At least. I don't know which one. The whole show is about getting rid of them, bro. So, like, Isaiah, having both is brutal. Much depends on your record, man. Which you didn't put in here, so I'm going to assume it's bad. Devontae Adams for one. Try. St. Brown for one, if you've got to. And then the other one, like, go after Pierce. Go after Kenneth Walker. Go after ETN. Go after... I mean, I know that it's not going to be easy. Go after Aaron Jones. Just keep going down the list until you don't feel comfortable anymore giving JT or Swift up for the player. Like, there's got to be a line. Don't go making a horrible trade, but I think you just got to try and figure out how to swap those guys for two different players. And St. Brown would be one of my targets for sure because I feel like people are still doubting him. Adams, people are doubting him. You might be able to throw something else in with Adams, but people are doubting him like crazy. So definitely feel like that's something that I would explore for sure. My team is Cousins, JT, CP, Cordero Patterson, Foreman, Pacheco, Kyron Williams, JJ, CD, Godwin, Andrews. I like this team. I think you two need to explore the JT move. Maybe JT and Godwin could get you a running back upgrade into Walker. Maybe could get you a running back upgrade into ETN. Like, I'd be willing to overpay a little bit to get a running back in place of JT. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd overpay a smidge. And I feel like Godwin is tradable to me to make that move. Obviously, I'd take a Nick Chubb or something like that. Should I trade Swift? If so, what for? I mean, bro, the whole show's been about trading Swift. I would say you have Mixon and ETN. I would say if you could get rid of Swift and a wide receiver and get a Walker, you're hitting a home run. Walker and ETN would be your running backs. Would I trade Swift for Adams straight up and give up something if I had to? Yes. Would I trade Swift straight up for St. Brown? Yes. Would I go get Mark Andrews straight up for Swift? I probably would. Would I give him away for dirt cheap? No. No, not at all. Not at all. But those are some ideas. We've kicked around a lot. You might want to watch the beginning of the show too for a little bit more. But for sure, man, for sure.
To the moon.
To the moon for your super chat here. Who is this? V-San, my guy, would you trade Waddle, Dalvin for Hurts and Cooks in a Superflex? Waddle and Dalvin Cook for Hurts and B Cooks. I don't know. I think so. Let's look at your team. AK, Swift, St. Brown, Josh Allen. I think I would. That's rough, though. That's rough. What are we thinking here? What do you guys like? Waddle and Dalvin Cook or Brandon Cooks and Hurts in a Superflex? Look, Hurts is a top 5 overall pick in Superflex. Dalvin Cook is a mid-second round to late second round pick in a Superflex. Waddle is probably a 4th rounder in the Superflex. Maybe late 3rd. So we're talking about a top 5 overall pick. I think a lot of people don't play Superflex. They're not going to understand this trade. They're just going to see like 2 players, Dalvin and Waddle, but it's so different in Superflex. Having a quarterback like Hurts and Josh Allen and still having the AK, the Swift. Yeah, vetoes are lame. Vetoes are lame. What are we doing here? Slayer says Hurts, Waddle, and Dalvin all day, says Ryan. Ryan, do you play in Superflex, though? I think we're going to get a lot of people answering from a one quarterback's stance. I don't think. I'd try and get a little more VSAN. Like, can you get a different player than Cooks? Like, just somebody else that a little bit more impacting. I mean, in general, I guess it's okay. I don't love that you're giving up 2 pieces, but I'd probably take it. But I'd rather get something else, bro. I'd rather get another piece. I have Goff, or as Ron calls him, Golf, Swift, Michael Carter, AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Kelsey, St. Brown. Move Swift for DK. I probably would. I'd probably rather have DK than Swift right now. He's safer. It's not a trade I'm proud of, but I'd probably take DK. Rogers just traded Ertz, Debo, and Algier. Got back Aaron Jones. Ertz, Debo, and Algier got back Aaron Jones and Tunyon. I could argue either side of this. Debo and Aaron Jones or Debo. I think it's pretty even. I don't think one way or another one of you blasted the other. I think it's very, very close, depending on what you needed and what you wanted. I don't think you did bad. Yo, Smitty, Khalil Herbert or Mostert at the flex? I'm going to go with Mostert until he gets injured. Khalil Herbert more of a long-term bet, I think. My Chubb for his Josh Jacobs and Hopkins. Jacobs and Hopkins is better than just Nick Chubb. Oh, wait. Dynasty. Doesn't really matter in Dynasty. They're all kind of older. I think I'd probably still take Jacobs and Hopkins and then I might try and flip him somehow and get like a Kenneth Walker. But that's a close call, bro. In Dynasty, they're all kind of older or don't have like tons of long-term value. So that's a tough one. 6-2, 12-man. I have Tua, Dak. Should I stay with my running back 2 situation or trade for another running back? I'd trade Zeke if you can, and DJ Moore for like a RB, bro. That might be kind of easy to do too because DJ Moore's got some good value. I'd go after Pierce. I'd go after for DJ Moore, you could probably get God, I have Najee Harris so low on my rankings now. It's so weird to see. Stevenson, Damian Pierce. I mean, maybe DJ Moore for JT or Swift. You might be a candidate at 6-2 to be one of the people buying those guys. Joshua, that's what I would do. You have the ability. I mean, go for Stevenson first, but you have the ability to go get JT or Swift. Other people don't. You're 6-2. What about JT for Walker, Etienne, and Pierce? Oh, I'd take any one of those guys for JT. You're 6-2. I'm re-asking the question. Have Eckler, Connor, Hurts. Okay. I would take either. I would take any one of those guys, and I'd rank them in order of Etienne, Walker, and Pierce in that order, and I'd take any one of them for JT. And would I try to get more? I don't think you're gonna get more.
To the moon.
Thank you for the super chat, the $10 hauler to my boy Eric. Eric says Hurt, CD, T, Higgins, Sutton, Eckler, Henry, Aaron Jones, Waller. Just made a lot of moves. I think I should stay put for now. You also have your handcuffs. Yeah, bro. I mean, Hurts, Eckler, Henry, Aaron Jones, Waller, if he gets healthy. CD, T, Higgins. I like CD and T, Higgins. I don't mind those at all. Would I trade CD or T, Higgins straight up for Adams? Yes. Would I give up Freiermuth if they're tight end? If they need a tight end, would I give a Sutton or Sutton or Freiermuth or Sutton or Waller with T. Higgins or CD for an Adams. I would. Bye week free. That might put you over the top, Eric. I'd probably do that. Mike Powers, again, thank you for the super chat. We got a $20 hauler for Rick. Rick gets immediate attention and assistance. Rick, my guy. I'm buying JT all day. Just picked him up in one of my leagues for Miles and Foreman. To me, it's worth the risk. He gets healthy. I agree with you in that context. I do feel like he's worth getting. He's also worth trading. He's also worth holding. He's also worth running from. He's also worth, if you're 6-2, 7-1, 8-0, he's worth going and getting. So I agree with you in that context for that value. And guys, if anybody asks if I'm getting to the super chats, I'm going through one at a time. Pitts or Hawkinson? I go Hawkinson. Or no, this week Pitts. I'm sorry, Pitts. Hero. 7-1, first place, but getting worried. Adams, Amon-Ra, Chase, Swift, Walker, Taysom. I'd try and upgrade a quarterback. Maybe DeShaun Watson comes back and is great for you. You're 7-1 though. Why are you getting worried? I mean, you're 7-1, bro. And Swift's been out. You want him back, I get it, but you're 7-1. You've been killing it considering. Pollard's stepping up at the right time. I know he's not available for you this week, but I don't mind this team. I'd consider Jamar Chase for a player. Like, I wonder if you could get rid of, like, Pollard and Chase for Adams, bro. That would be pretty killer. Other than that, I mean, I'd hold and wait a week and see what's what. But Pollard and Chase for Adams, go try that. Trade JT and CD for CMC and Garrett Wilson. I'd take CMC and Garrett Wilson. I'd like a little bit better player than Garrett Wilson if that's at all possible. I don't mean to get greedy here, but I'm just asking. Can't hurt to ask. You know, $10 hauler.
To the moon.
Appreciate you. Two QB, 2 defense standard, made 12 trades. Jeez. Chasing Mahomes, Hurts. Owner QB Herbert. Trade for. Okay, so you're chasing Mahomes and Hurts, owner QB. 2 QB, 2 defense. Why do you have 2 defense? Who made up this? I've never played a 2 defensive league. That's crazy. 2 defense. What are we doing here? Herbert and God, what could you do? Herbert and man, I would trade JT for. I wonder if you could trade JT and Brady for Mahomes. JT and Brady for Hurts. I would try and use JT to get that quarterback upgrade. You got Kamara and ETN, you're fine there. You got Swift. Wide receivers are JJ and Lamb and Hopkins. You're fine there. I don't move those wide receivers. I would use JT to upgrade my quarterback in a 2 QB league. That's the way JT can serve you best right now. Trade Swift, Rondell for Higgins and Connor. I'd probably take Higgins and Connor. It's hard. God, it's hard to sell Swift at that value, though. What's the chat think? Would you rather have Swift and Rondell Moore or Higgins and Connor? Let's leave this one to the chat. That's a tough one. Drop an answer there, chat. Joseph, okay, I've got him interested in Waddle and Foreman for his Amari Cooper and Kamara. I've got him interested in Waddle and Foreman for his Kamara. You guys, the way you guys word trades is so funny. Like, that's why I don't know. I've never heard someone say it like that. I've got him interested in my Waddle and Foreman for his. Okay. Kamara, I take Kamara in a heartbeat. CMC and ETN. I don't care even if you're overloaded at running back. You can flip it differently. I would take Kamara. I like Waddle. I like Foreman. But Amari Cooper's tradable right now, and Kamara's more valuable than anybody in this deal by a long shot, bro. So I definitely would do that, Joseph. Smitty approved that. And then don't stop there. You know, always look to do deals, but I definitely would take that. Trade Carter, Foreman, and Palmer for JT. I would take JT. I would take the chance on JT in that scenario. No doubt about it. Special. Four and four full PPR. I have Eckler, Kamara, and Kenneth Walker, Sanders, Chase, Debo, Devontae Smith, Pitts. Any moves? Thinking of moving Kamara for Devontae Adams. Thoughts? Thinking of moving Kamara for Devontae Adams. Thoughts? I would rather have, Adams and a lot more, bro. You can't just trade Kamara for Adams. I agree it's good thinking. If you need a RB and a wide receiver, you could pull it off, but you need something else. Kamara's got more draft value. You need to get like an additional player of some kind. You need to get maybe you do a swap. Maybe you give up like a Devontae Smith and he gives you a St. Brown in addition to that or something along those lines. But Kamara's got more value than Adams by, I would say, like 5 or 6 draft slots, bro. Or at least 4 or 5. So you need to get more. Doo-wop, no question attached. I'll try and look for that in a minute. Guys, make sure you attach your question in the chat. Trade Swift plus Rondell for Higgins and Connor. Oh, already got that. What did everybody vote on that one? Connor. There you go. Chat agrees. Connor. Cole. Love the show, bro. Lamar, CMC, Pierce, Amon-Ra, Pittman. Sitting at 3 and 5. Any trade moves? I love your RBs. Wide receivers are fine. Lamar's fine. I think you got to sit on that. You could sell CMC high, but you'd have to entertain like an amazing offer, bro. You'd have to be getting like a St. Brown and a Kenneth Walker, or even more than that. Kenneth Walker and Adams. Go to the Kenneth Walker owner, go to the Adams owner, see if you can get something that amazing. Past that, don't even do it. Bring it back to me before you do it. But it takes something like that for me to even entertain it. But I don't think there's any other moves to make with that team. Let it ride. I know your record isn't amazing, but I think CMC's coming on. Pierce, Amon-Ra's been out. There's nothing really to sell high other than CMC. I'd consider selling Lamar if the price is right. I consider selling CMC if the price is right. But Pierce and Amon-Ra aren't sellable right now at the price that you deserve. JJ or Hill rest of season? JJ. Appreciate the super chat. JJ. If I'm drafting right now for today moving forward, JJ would be in my top 5. Would you trade Stevenson and Foreman for Saquon or just wait till? Yeah, I would take Saquon in a heartbeat, Jaime. And if you wait, maybe they don't do it. So I would do that now. If that's a deal you can get done right now, that's a smash. Rhamondre for Pittman and Lockett? No, I'd take Rhamondre. Rush. Smitty, I did it around 10 a.m. today. I finally hauled out the trash that is JT and Dylan and got a great Stevenson in return. The great Stevenson in return. What do you think? We did a vote on this at the beginning of the show, Rush. I'm sure you saw it. And the majority wanted JT over Stevenson. However, I think this is a very arguable move, and I'm not mad at it, and I think it could work out for you. But you're also playing with a little bit of fire with Bill Belichick and his decision to give all the work to Stevenson go forward. You don't know that he will. So there's risk on both sides doing that and not doing that trade. So I'll be rooting for you, but I think it's a pretty up in the air situation. So I don't think it was a victory lap. I don't think you got crushed. I don't think you crushed him. I think it was TBA. TBA, but I don't mind it if you want to take that gamble. Have Kyle Pitts, to be honest with you. I might live to regret that statement, but I just don't know that Hawkinson moving teams is going to be smooth right away. Would you trade Debo for Waddle? I'd rather have Waddle given CMC's in town, and I just don't know what to expect out of Debo. And he's been banged up a little bit, so we don't even know where he's at in terms of that. 6-2, 12-team league, traded Barkley for Swift and Jefferson. Roster is, I don't mind that because like Barkley and JJ are very close. You kind of got a free Swift. Like, would I rather have Barkley over JJ? Maybe, but not necessarily. Like, I wouldn't just say 100% of the time. It would depend on my team, the approach I was taking into the draft, and the fact that you got Swift free. Smitty approved.
You've just been...
Angel. Moonshot for CD Lamb. He's been good for us.
To the moon.
Moonshot for CD. There you go. Appreciate you, Angel. Thank you for the super chat. Heavy dropping a super chat. Heavy, I'm sorry I didn't see this. Heavy should have got helped right away. Heavy, you still here? Apologize, my guy. Josh Allen, Connor, Dylan, Thielen, Gabe Davis, Tyreek Hill, Rondell Moore, Folk, Vikings, Nick Chubb. I pick up Joshua Palmer over Kadarius Toney. I take Joshua Palmer over, I guess, a few people. Probably over Hilliard, I suppose. Heavy, you still here? As far as trades, you got Nick Chubb, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Josh Allen. That's a heck of a core, bro. You got Gabe Davis. Go watch my video tonight, Heavy. Drops at 8:30 p.m. Or, I'm sorry, 11:30 p.m. Wait, no. The time zone changed, right? I was even going to start the show a different time today, but I just started at the normal time. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. And right now, daylight savings kicked in, so we started a little early. But right now, it's what, Eastern time? Eastern time is 8:46 right now. Oh, no, it hasn't. Daylight savings kicks in this Thursday, right? Or this Sunday, right? Okay, that's right. So I did it right. I did it right. My video at 8:30, 9:30, 10, 11:30 p.m. Eastern is on Josh Allen and the trio of Gabe Davis and Diggs. So I'm going to tell you, if you could somehow get Diggs, but you can't without giving up Nick Chubb. And you need Nick Chubb. You need your running backs. I like this team. There's not much you can really do, though, unless you divide and conquer. And I don't know that I want you trading away. The only thing I might do is maybe you trade Connor and... Man, this one's tough. Maybe you could trade Chubb. Go to the Diggs owner. Diggs is like arguably the 1 or 2 or 3 wide receiver overall. But see if there's a way to get like a Stevenson out of him by giving up Chubb. Maybe you give up Pickens and Chubb and you get Diggs and Stevenson or something like that. That's something I'd explore. But watch my video tonight on the trio, the Gabe Davis, the Diggs and Josh Allen trio. ETN over Walker, probably, yeah, but I love both of them. DJ Moore or Connor, probably DJ Moore. This is tough though, because the only thing you can do, I don't think I'd trade Josh Allen. He's going to carry you, bro. The only thing you could do is trade Chubb, potentially. Maybe you trade Tyreek Hill. Maybe you trade Tyreek Hill for... Go to the Kenneth Walker owner, see if they have a St. Brown. I would trade Tyreek Hill for Kenneth Walker and St. Brown. I'd trade Tyreek Hill for ETN and St. Brown. I'd trade Tyreek Hill for Devontae Adams and Kenneth Walker. Those types of moves are the only thing that you could do with either Tyreek Hill or Chubb. And I would explore those. $20 hauler by Eduardo. Eduardo, my guy. Cup, Swift, and Jamal for A.J. Brown, CD, and Lamb, and ETN. Cup, Swift, and Jamal for A.J. Brown, CD, Lamb, and ETN. A.J. Brown, CD, Lamb, and ETN by 100,000 miles, bro. Like, number one, Cup and, like, A.J. Brown. Look, there's a difference, okay? There's a difference for sure. But is that difference worth getting CD and ETN for Swift? You know what I'm saying? Like, easy. I've got one, but I'm waiting on him. Yeah, bro.
You've just...
Easy call, my guy. Easy call. Box of Juice says traded JT, Garrett Wilson for Travis Etienne and Gabe Davis. I would take Travis Etienne and Gabe Davis in a heartbeat. Send Mahomes, Swift for Herbie and Adams. Give me Mahomes and Swift. But I still try and acquire Adams. But I can't trade Mahomes. Herb's not there yet. I have Josh Allen, JT, Pierce, Diggs, Hopkins, Hurst, D. Smith, Mostert, Pierce. I'm concerned at running back. Any suggestions? Josh Allen, JT, Pierce, Diggs, Hopkins. I mean, there's not much you can do other than trade like Mostert and JT, or Mostert and Devontae Smith for like a little bit upgrade over Mostert. You know what I mean? Like an Aaron Jones. Probably not going to happen after this week. Other running, like maybe you go get JT, or I mean Swift. You know, I hate how you having JT and Swift on this team, but at the same time, like maybe you could give up Mostert and Devontae Smith for Swift. Try it, and if you don't get that, that's fine. I'd probably hold this team or try and trade JT for. I mean, what can you get, though? Like Aaron Jones? Can you get a Kenneth Walker and give up something a little bit more? Maybe you could give up JT and Mostert for Kenneth Walker. JT and Mostert for a running back at that level. That's probably the only thing you can do, Crimson. Tony with the $20 hauler. Tony, appreciate you. Tony, Smitty, I'm 4-4. Any suggestions? Saquon and CMC and Swift. It's a good crew. Your wide receivers are a little light with Kirk Lockett, Samuel Waller. Try and sell Swift, bro. Try and sell Swift for a St. Brown. Be my number one target. My second target would be Adams, and you're gonna have to give up more. So you're gonna have to throw. I mean, I'd sell Kirk. I'd put Lockett in with Swift to get an Adams in a heartbeat. I'd trade Waller or Higbee with Swift to get Adams in a heartbeat. St. Brown and Adams are your saviors at wide receiver, the most attainable big name players, I think, in your situation. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. Any trade advice? Kyler, Hurts, 3 and 5. Superflex, Kyler, Hurts, St. Brown, Walker, Drake, Pollard, Pitts. Man. Not anything that doesn't involve breaking up your. My stream cut out, and I lost the super chats. Man, I'm gonna have to go back through these. Bear with me, guys. The stream cut out. It's back live, but it cut out, and I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to pull up these super chats again. So bear with me. I might have lost them on my end. Let's see here. Rick buying JT all day. Just picked him up in one league. Miles and Fournette. To me, it's worth the risk. Appreciate that. This one here. From Asher, trade Rhamondre and Sun God for Carter. I take Sun God and Carter. Rodney with a super chat just traded Carr and Kamara for Hurts and JT. I'd probably rather have Hurts and JT and take that chance. Eduardo, need to make some trades. I don't I don't have to drop two guys, or I don't have to drop two guys. Hurts, Cup. I don't know if we're still live on the same stream or not. Hopefully we are. Are we still on the same stream? Yeah, I think we are. God, the internet's cutting in and out, guys. Kane, appreciate you. I'm trying to get to the super chat. Smitty, you missed my $10. Zach, I didn't miss it yet. I'm still going through them, but let me see where I'm at. I might have to have you guys repeat your super chats, or I might be able to pull them up, actually. Hold on. Yeah, so Monty, B-Rob, Monty, Godwin, Swift and Godwin, Swift and Monty, Swift and B-Rob, Eduardo. I'm making those packages, trying to get Devontae Adams type player. I'm trading Swift for St. Brown straight up if you're worried. Running backs, though, are kind of light, aren't they? Swift. If you get rid of Swift, you might have to go after an RB. Never mind. Go after Pierce, go after Kenneth Walker using Swift and give up Monty or B-Rob or Rondell. Go to the... Oh, God. You do got Jamal and Swift, though. That's pretty secure. Maybe you just trade Foreman and Godwin for an Adams, Eduardo. Ramos, 7-1. Do I make a move Kyler, Stevenson, JT, AJ Dillon, ETN? The stream keeps cutting out. I'm trying to see what the problem is. So bear with me as I try and figure this out. I'm wondering if it has to do with storage. No, it doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know if the internet connection is just choppy. We seem to be on the same stream, so everything seems to be normal. But problem is, all my super chats have been potentially wiped out in terms of like being able to read them on in my system here. It doesn't mean they're gone, but I might have to answer these another way. Tony, appreciate your super chat, by the way. THC picked up Deion Jackson and packaged him with B-Rob, MT, Olave. Did I win? Package him with B-Rob, MT, and Olave, and package him with B-Rob, MT for Olave. I like the Olave. I'm not a big J-Rob guy, but I like Olave. That's not bad. I like that. Eduardo, appreciate your super chat, my guy. Terrell, Gallup or drop, keep Gallup or drop Kadarius Toney. I don't care about Gallup. I'd drop Gallup. Stevenson for DK. I'd rather have whichever one helps you, bro. If you need a running back, I'm okay with Stevenson. You need a wide receiver. I'm okay. The Wi-Fi keeps cutting out. It keeps cutting out. I'm sorry. Time to trade JJ because Kirk Cousins drives me crazy. Don't trade JJ, bro. All right, let me try and find these super chats. I think I can probably locate them through the back end of the system here and try and see if I can read off the ones I don't recognize. I apologize, guys. The internet keeps crashing. Stash Jameson or Goodwin. I'd rather stash. Or is that Hollywood? Hollywood Brown? I'd rather stash Hollywood Brown. Super chats. Okay, I found them. Money for Smitty's Wi-Fi. Thank you, Vamp. Appreciate you. Tony HGH. Appreciate you again. Suggestions. I think trying to get a quarterback upgrade would be nice too, but I think Kirk and Lockett with maybe a Swift might get you something, bro. I also like going and getting Andrews with Swift, but given the fact that you can afford to get rid of Swift because you got CMC and Saquon. I know this week you got CMC on a bye, but Swift for Andrews wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, if you can give Waller back and then get something else in return, maybe. THC, pick up Deion Jackson and package him with B-Rob. Already answered that one. Cup, Swift, and Jamal. This one's from Eduardo. Kupp, Swift, and Jamal for A.J. Brown, C.D. Lamb, and ETN. Yeah, I already answered that one. That was a smash, right? No, wait a minute. Kupp, Swift, and Jamal for A.J. Brown, C.D. Lamb, and ETN. Yeah, I already answered that one. Money Mitch, Stevenson for DK. I answered that one already. Swift, okay. Do I trade JT, JJ, and Deontay for Saquon and Amon-Ra? Do I trade JT, JJ, and Deontay for Saquon and Amon-Ra? God. I guess I take Amon-Ra and Saquon over JT and JJ, but you could, if JJ gets back on track, that's going to be a phenomenal side of that trade. There's no way to know, bro. 4-4, this is from Keenan. 4-4, 2 flex, lost Brees and Dobbins. Need a running back 2, Josh, Saquon, Herbert, JJ, Higgins, Hawkinson, Olave, DJ Moore, Pitts, and Mike Williams, Pacheco. Lost Brees and Dobbins. I mean, Josh and Saquon are good. Herbert, I believe, is your Khalil Herbert. I suppose it's Khalil Herbert. JJ, Higgins, Olave. I like your team. I don't know that I'm moving anything, bro. I'd maybe trade Josh Jacobs on the high for like a Kenny Walker and like a St. Brown or something like that. Or a quarterback upgrade. Or trade Josh Jacobs for Mark Andrews and a running back. You know, like that's something that I would entertain. Thank you, Keenan. 7-1. Do I make a move? Kyler, JT, Stevenson, AJ, Dilly, ETNB, Rob. I think I answered this one already. I love the Andrews tight end situation you got there. JT, Stevenson. I'd trade JT for Kenneth Walker. I'd trade JT for, you know, you have ETN already. Nice. I don't know, bro. Ramos, that's tough. You're 7-1 though. I think you can afford to wait. I think you got St. Brown, you got Andrews, you got JT, Stevenson, ETN, B Rob. I wait, bro. I wait if I'm you. You're 7-1 for a reason. You can wait on JT. You're one of the few people that can wait on him. Eduardo, appreciate you. Hurts, Kupp, Godwin, Swift, Foreman, Jamal Williams, Rondell, Bench, Monty. I think I already gave you advice on this one, but Swift and Monty, Foreman and B-Rob, Foreman and Rondell, Foreman and Godwin for one better player is what we're talking about, right? All right. Rodney just traded Carr and Kamara for Hurts and JT. Already answered that one. Rhamondre and Sun God for Carter. I answered that one. Rick, I'm buying JT all day. I answered that one. Do the redraft rankings on the site apply to keeper leagues as well? I have dynasty rankings and I have redraft rankings 365, bro. Drafting 9th tonight and interested if you have any tips from the 9th spot. I would go wide receiver go best player available, but I'm definitely loving wide receiver in Dynasty more than running back. But it depends if Kenneth Walker falls. Where I draft Breece Hall, man, I don't know. That's a tough one. But wide receiver heavy usually in Dynasty. Make sure you don't, scrimp on a quarterback. Love Josh Allen, Mahomes, Burrow in Dynasty. They can carry you in Dynasty. Wide receivers and quarterbacks in Dynasty startups are my favorite. Would you trade for Saquon right now or wait till the bye week? I would definitely go acquire him right now, Jaime. Don't wait on trades you can get done right now. Gave Higgins, Samuel for D. Adams. People are more apt to trade a player before the bye week's over, too. Higgins, Samuel. Who's Samuel? Curtis Samuel? Higgins, Curtis Samuel for D. I mean, is that Debo Samuel, maybe? It's probably Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel and Higgins for Adams. That's too much. If that's Curtis Samuel or something like that, then of course I do that. Trade Cook for Andrews. You probably get a little more than Andrews, bro, for Cook. A little bit more. Henry, Boyd, But I like where you're going with that, but I want more. You need like a Stevenson on top of that. Henry, Boyd for Eckler. Which side? Probably rather have Eckler. Boyd's not enough to move the needle. Henry's now got a foot injury that we're a little concerned about. Not extremely concerned about, but a little bit concerned about. Thoughts on the team? Mahomes, Dalvin Cook, Pierce, Metcalf, Kenneth Walker. You're 6-2. I probably... Bro, that's pretty good. I'd probably trade... I mean, you're 6-2. You're waiting on Chase, bro. I think you stand still. You maybe look at some trades next week, but I think you take this one in a couple weeks, and when your trade deadline approaches, we may have to look at it. JT and CD for Sun God. JT and CD for Sun God and Amari Cooper and Kirk. I'd rather have JT and CD. St. Brown, Sutton, Lockett, A-Rob. This one's from Johnny. St. Brown, Sutton, Lockett, A-Rob, and Mooney, Barkley, Etienne, Walker, Sanders. Trade Sanders and St. Brown for Jamar Chase. You're 6-2. I'd rather have St. Brown and Sanders, bro. Luke, need to play running back 2, J-Rob versus Buffalo, Hilliard, or drop Watson and pick up Hasty or Deion Jackson. Deion Jackson, bro. Deion Jackson, if he ends up playing Deion Jackson. I'm 3-5, and this is from Professor Stroke. I'm 3-5, and I just had to move Swift and Olave for Pierce. That's a lot. I like Swift for Pierce. I know you got to give up a little bit more in some cases, but Olave is a lot to give. But that's okay. I mean, that's not a bad move. St. Brown, thank you. Appreciate you. Marcus, St. Brown should see an increased volume with TJ gone. I agree. I like St. Brown a lot. Traded Henry. This is from Christian Columbus. Traded Henry for Walker and JJ. That's a smash, bro. Stash Hollywood or Jameson. Give me Hollywood Brown. Where is Etienne gear? Where is the Etienne gear in the shop? Traded Chase and Taysom for Andrews and scooped up Likely. I like that. I don't know about this gear, what you're talking about with the gear. SKS 2-24. Traded Rhamondre and Connor for JT. Regrets. I don't know. That could work out for you, bro. That could work out for you. Don't overthink that one. You did it. It's already done. And if it helps you any, before we got into all this at the beginning of the show, we did a vote on Stevenson or JT, and the majority wanted JT over Stevenson. So that should help you make you feel a little bit better. Chill, Bill. Olave or Keenan Allen at wide receiver 2 this week. I'm probably going to go Olave, my guy, because Keenan Allen's injured and probably not playing. So no question about it. I see a $20 hauler coming in, but I got to get through these before I lose them. These are the super chats that I had. This one's from Toon. 2-6 PPR. Trade my Kamara, Evans for Adams and Kenneth Walker. I'd rather have... That's pretty even, bro. That's even Steven, man. That's like almost what's the point type of trade. Kamara and Walker, Evans and Adams. I suppose I lean... I guess I lean Adams and Walker, but barely. I mean, you could go either way. Zach, 7-1, 12-man league, 0.5 PPR. Hurts. Running back Etienne, running back Foreman, wide receiver 1 JJ, wide receiver 2 AJ. Guys, the stream keeps cutting in and out. Please, if it cuts out again, it's probably going to be done for the night. If I missed your super chat, please ask me the question in the comments with a bunch of red question mark emojis. I'll get to everybody's question anyway, but please, if you had a super chat, so I can make sure I take extra special care of your question, please put the question mark emojis next to the question. if it cuts out again, I don't know what I'm not going to be able to come back again. I'm thinking based on my system crashing. It's either a internet connectivity issue or I got to restart my computer. I don't know what's going on, but I'm losing all the super chats. So please, 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 if it ends again, I'm going to end the stream, and I need you to re-ask your question with the question mark emoji. I will get to you. Just please ask me that. Heavy, appreciate your super chat. I think I've got to send Mahomes and Swift for Herbie and Adams. I'd rather have Mahomes, JT, Garrett Wilson for Travis, Etienne, and Gabe Davis. I'd rather have Travis, Etienne, and Gabe Davis. I think I already got to that. Moonshot for CD, I got to that. Would you trade Debo for Waddle? I'd rather have Waddle. I think at this point, I think I answered all these. I might be caught up on that. I'm going to go to the top. If I missed anybody's, please make sure you... let's see. Shoddy. Appreciate you, Shoddy. Is Stevenson and Foreman too much for Saquon? No, it's not. Tyler says I sent my team in here earlier, was just offered Herbert and Henderson for Danny Dimes and Foreman. No, I'm not trading Justin Herbert for that. I like Foreman, but I'm not taking Danny Dimes as my starting quarterback unless it's not your starting quarterback. Then sure. 10 team league, PPR, Tua, Watson, JT, ETN, Pierce, Cordero, Chase, Amon, Raw. 3 and 5, man, you got to make some moves. You got to probably try and trade Jamar Chase. You already got St. Brown. He's my number one target for somebody with Chase. You already got ETN. He's my number one target for people with JT. Pierce would be second. Like, you got all the boys, bro, already. JT for Aaron Jones. JT, you either hold JT and trade Jamar Chase, or you hold Chase and trade JT. You got to probably do one or the other at 3 and 5, unless you think this team, based on your schedule and who you're facing, can pull its weight. Olave, Amon-Ra are great wide receiver 1s and 2s right now. ETN and Pierce are pretty decent running back 1s and 2s while you wait for JT to bounce back. But I mean, that's a tough one, bro. I'd say go after Aaron Jones. I would say go after Kenneth Walker. I would say go after Devontae Adams using JT and something. I would trade JT for Adams straight up, obviously. I'd trade JT and Amari Cooper for Adams. Just Adams. I'd give up Deontay if I needed to with JT to get Adams. That's what I would do if I was in your situation. Thank you, Big. Appreciate you dropping that $20 hauler, bro. All right, I'm lost on the super chats. My system's crashed. I don't have anything. I feel like I've lost a few of them. Please let me know if anybody lost their super chat. Toon, I got to your super chat already. Eduardo, Foreman, or Herbert rest of season. Give me Foreman over Khalil Herbert. Yeah. Travis, have likely plus Deion Jackson, trade JT or Olave for Andrews. I mean, I'd trade Olave for Andrews for sure. I'd try and trade JT for something else, but I would hold him if you can get rid of Olave to get Andrews. I would do that. I lost all these super chats, bro. T Smooth says got Etienne, Eckler, Adams, Amon-Ra, but need a wide receiver depth. JT, Hendy for D Hop and AJ Brown. I'd take D Hop and AJ Brown in a heartbeat, bro. All right, let me go ahead and refresh one more time. I think you're gonna have to ask him again. The super chats in the comments, guys. I'm so sorry about that. Let's see here. Hold on. Hey, Smitty, update. I pulled it off. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find him anymore, guys. So please ask in the comments of the video your question. Put question mark emojis, not in the live chat, in the comments of the video. Please restate your question if I missed your super chat. I'm going to end the show for now. My system is crashing. I'm sorry, guys. This super chat I do see. What was trying to pump your... What? Was trying to pump your shop earlier in the chat, looking for an ETN hoodie. Oh, gotcha. To replace my Brees's pieces. Hang in there. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you. All right, guys. I got to end it. My computer's like freezing up. I can't even see much. Everything's got to be restarted. I think it was my system. I don't know that it was my internet connection, but we'll find out. I'll restart. I'm not doing the live again. We've been live for I don't know how long. 2.5 hours. I will go through the comments all night long if it takes me all night long. Please ask your question again. Please go ask your super chat question in the chat. Got offered JJ and Dobbs or Mooney for ETN and St. Brown. I take ETN and St. Brown, bro. All right, ask your question in the comments. I'm so sorry if I didn't get to your super chat. I will get to it in the comments. Later, guys.